Hello, YouTube, once again. I know you've all heard the expression, what comes around goes around. You reap what you sow. Also expressions like, now the rooster's eggs that come to hatch. We've all heard those expressions or grew up on those expressions. But this video is going in about the condition and the decline of white America. And the things that we went through as a people are now you're starting to see an account shift taking place. The poverty, the death, the drugs, the stress, the bigotry, the Jim Crow, the lynching, the slavery, all those accounts are now shifting. And so what we had, they're starting to get, and what they had, we're going to get with chips and dips. We're going to get more. We're going to get tenfold what has been taken from us. So this article is basically about the Daily Motion, or Daily, let's me get this correct. The Daily Mail, and this is in the UK. And it says, drugs, drink, obesity, smoking, and suicide, while rural American white women are now dying up to 48% faster than 25 years ago. It's trouble in paradise now. Death rates for rural white women aged 25 to 54 are higher now than in 1990. Increases are between 15 and 48%, a huge figure, whereas rates for all rural black and Hispanic people have dropped. White rural men and urban women had much smaller increases. A selection of bad habits have been blamed, as well as suicide. Pessimism about the future among poor rural whites have been blamed. White, black, and Hispanic people are more optimistic about their chances, and that just goes to show you how delusional some of us minorities are. We're always hoping for the better, and there's nothing wrong with that, but it's usually aimed at the wrong things. It's usually aimed at trying to build a kingdom here in America, and that's not going to happen. Let's see. The death rates, I'm going to skip over some of that. And let's see, for every 100,000 white women in rural America, 229 died in the early 1900s. That rate is now 296. The stats released by the Washington Post show those aged between 30 and 44 are dying 47 and 48% faster than 25 years ago, putting them most at risk. Even the youngest age group, 25 to 29 years old, has seen a 37% increase in its deaths. Using data from the Centers of Disease Control and Prevention, the CDC, the Post noted that only those aged over 55 saw their death rates drop. Meanwhile, death rates for all black and Hispanic men and women in rural areas have fallen. Death rates for white men under 55 in rural areas have also increased, though not nearly as fast, between 4 and 14%. And white women in urban areas under 55 have seen increases of 1 to 8%. So what is killing rural white women? One factor, the paper says, is drugs. More of them are overdosing on prescription opiates and heroin than before, because usually the vast majority of white people have access to better health care, better benefits, and therefore you have an easier access to get those drugs. Americans are only 5% of the world's population, but consume 80% of its prescription opiates. And most of those getting the drugs legally are white. My case in point. And those addicted to prescription meds, the Post say, can turn to street heroin for a cheaper fix. But it's not just heroin that kills. A legal drug, oxycodone, can be dangerous too, and is also sold illegally by dealers for those without prescription. In 1990, the FDA approved MS-Cotin, and I hope I'm pronouncing that right, a patch that would slowly deliver oxycodone, a painkiller, into the body. Based on the success, it approved Oxycontin, a brand of controlled release oxycodone, painkiller in 1995. The FDA says it thought that this would lead to fewer overdoses as the pill slowly broke down in the body. But it turned out that crushing the drug and injecting it would lead to heroin-like highs and overdoses, only earning its name hillbilly heroin. The paper points to Walker County, Alabama, less than an hour from Birmingham, where coal mine closures are putting the 91% white population out of work. 1 in 5 working age people is registered disabled, and 4 out of 5 arrests are drug related. When we see somebody dead under 50, we automatically think drugs. Walker County Circuit Clerk Susan Odom, whose sister died of a drug overdose, told the Post, died at home, drugs. Overdoses nationwide for women between 35 and 44 have increased from around 4% to around 24% between 1999 and 2014. In the same period, the overall death rate for white women aged 35 to 44 in Walker County has jumped 170%. Alcohol is a factor too. Women are still likely to abuse booze more than men, but the gap between the genders is getting smaller, and women are more likely to have negative effects. George Cobb, director of the National Institute on Alcohol Abuse and Alcoholism, says women tend to develop alcohol-related diseases more easily, especially those that are obese. I think that's what the Post findings are picking up, is insults to the liver, he said. And according to the data, deaths by cirrhosis for America's rural white women have increased from around 7% to around 19% for rural women ages 50 to 54, and from 7 to around 13% for those in the 45 to 49% bracket. Even apart from alcohol abuse, obesity brings serious dangers: diabetes, heart disease, among many. More than a third of Americans today are considered obese, and the average American woman now weighs as much as the average American man did in the 1960s. Welcome to our world, women. Feminism has got you right where we're at. And then there's smoking. Lung cancer now kills more women than breast cancer, and the lead of American men once had on women in terms of smoking disappeared in the 1960s and 70s as men quit the habit in droves. Suicide rates are up too, from around 9% to 45 to 49-year-olds in 1999 to around 14% in 2014. The rates for 50 to 54-year-old are amongst the same. So there are many, many factors, but the one point linking them all is that the related deaths are occurring in rural, often poor areas rather than economically strong urban locations such as New York and Chicago. Johns Hopkins University sociologist Andrew Cherlin says that the rising figures of self-destructive activities and related deaths might be linked to the dash of expectations theory. And what you're seeing is living it up and all that party hardy is affecting the so-called white community. They're bored, there's nothing to do. When you have all the benefits, have all the money, you don't have anything to really do. So, some people just get on drugs just out of boredom. They want excitement in their life, so to say. The theory says that whites who used to benefit from discriminatory hiring policies for blue-collar jobs and unions, but now find themselves out of work or struggling to keep their jobs, are having trouble adapting to conditions that have plagued Black and Hispanic Americans for decades. And we were told to shut up, get over it. You're crying if you just try a little bit harder. If you would just go to school a little bit longer, you're just a bunch of crybabies, get over it. Now you're experiencing what we've been going through, and it's only going to get worse for you. This might explain why death rates for all whites, but especially white women, are on the rise in rural areas while Black and Hispanic rates drop, even though relative levels of poverty have remained stable. See, we're used to it. And we're used to living in the trenches. We're used to, living off top ramen noodles and government this and government that at times, and not all, of course, but we're used to being on the bottom. And when you're on the bottom, all you know is how to survive. That's all you know. How am I going to hustle the next meal? How am I going to hustle this, hustle that? Welcome to our world. Trelin says whites are now more pessimistic than they used to be about their ability to get on in life, whereas black and Hispanic people are more optimistic because we're always trying to elevate ourselves to what we perceive as being a high level as they are. We're always trying to compare ourselves with them, and that's what causes our optimism. Now, I'm not going to read all of this, folks. I'll leave the link in the description box. But this is the state of white America. And this is why nationalists like Richard Spencer and people like, the president himself, who is nothing but a white supremacist, and all the white supremacist people that he's hiring in his committees and chairs and whatever have you in the White House, this is why they're coming hot-tailed after us Negroes and Hispanics as well. Because they see the kingdom slowly but surely. It's not even slowly anymore. It's fastly circling the drain. So with that being said, till next time, folks, I'm out. Stay up. Shalom.